In 1986, Hasbro released Transformers, the movie, an animated epic starring Judd Nelson, Robert Stack, Leonard Nimoy, and Orson Welles. Citizen Kane was in this movie playing a planet. How could it be bad? Well, consider this. Within the first 10 minutes, all of the Transformers you probably owned that were waiting for you back at home were killed off without any fanfare. And I mean killed. As a 7-year-old, I was royally pissed. I wouldn't be able to go home and recreate any exciting moments with my toys. And I had to spend the next 80 minutes watching characters I didn't know or care about.
I, like many other collectors and fans, loved the idea of the movie until everybody started dying. And seeing as how, Optimus was my hero. Optimus was my favorite. Seeing as how he was killed and, done away with, it was a very devastating moment for me. I did not dislike the movie for that fact. I did like the movie as a concept, but I was very saddened by the loss of all the toys that I had at home, and was not very keen on some of the newer introductions.
Let me illustrate. Here are my actual Transformers from childhood as of the moment I went into that theater in 1986. I'm going to show you how many were left over after the movie ended. When the baddies attack in the opening of the film, Ironhide, Ratchet, and Brawn are all killed outright in grisly fashion, so scratch those. The corpse of Windcharger is dumped unceremoniously next to the dead body of Wheeljack, my first Transformer. Scratch those two. Skywarp and Bombshell get tossed into space after being maimed. Thrust dies in the final battle with Orson Welles. Soundwave was supposed to die, but they never animated it, so he disappears from the film without explanation. And we all know Optimus Prime died horribly. Jetfire, Warpath, Cosmos, and Sea Spray never made an appearance. And Gears? Well, fans argue he's the guy dumped into acid right before Cliffjumper, Bumblebee, and Jazz are all saved. So all I had left were two dumbass Dinobots along with Cliffjumper and Bumblebee. To add insult to injury, they were the screwed up ones with switched colors. Oh, wait, I've just learned that Snarl only appeared in one shot thanks to sloppy animation decisions and disappears from the rest of the film as well. So that's one dumbass Dinobot and two incorrectly colored Minibots. That's how I've come to view Hasbro's attitude toward the Transformers, sloppy and indifferent. The Transformers movie story consultant Flint Dill said it best. I have no idea what his voice sounds like, but I often perceive it to sound like this. We were gonna have all these new characters, and people were gonna be wondering what happened to the old characters that they liked so much. In a business sense, they had been discontinued because they were the previous line. Basically, in that scene, children would have seen their entire toy collections wiped out. It was all about selling toys, and Hasbro used the most callous tactics to achieve their goal. Rather than integrate the new characters in with the old ones to rekindle excitement and make kids want to add the new toys to their collections, Hasbro all but said, "Your old toys mean nothing. Start over, suckers." That's when I checked out. I never asked for another Transformer again. Transformers has endured for 30 years. The fan base is still strong. The franchise is still strong. What do you attribute to its longevity?
I would say that, it's the kids that are like you and I that have grown up and still feel so attached to this concept from childhood, and so they're prolonging the franchises and introducing it to new generations and doing pretty much whatever they think that they can to make them last, because it did have such an impact on us as children. The 80s by far produced the best toy lines of any generation, and it shows, through the new generations of G.I. Joe and Transformers, and how they're trying to bring back everything that we loved as children 30 years ago. As a current collector, modern collecting, it's hit or miss. Anything that's considered a commemorative item or as an homage to the classics, I've really gotten into, because they've tried to keep the idea and the concept of the original toy line, and make it a little bit more modern and work with the technological advances that that we have now. That's the dream come true, because you have something that was very poorly articulated as a child, and you could finally go back and buy this big, massive, robot now, and it has all the articulation that you really wanted as a child. And I think, in that aspect, Hasbro has got the right idea, because I think they are playing more towards the true longtime fans.
Stick it in neutral, Megatron! You're not going anywhere! Try and stop me, Prime!
Looking back on this franchise and seeing the following that it still has today, I've come to the conclusion that to be a Transformers fan requires a very specific worldview, an irrepressible, positive outlook. With its cutthroat marketing history and its finicky, easily broken toys, Transformers is not for the jaded. I've grown to admire the Transformers loyalists. They've weathered the years with resilience, and now in the 21st century, their devotion has paid off with toys that finally fulfill the potential of an idea that was hastily tossed together 3 decades ago. I once thought that fans of these robots were just blind simpletons, but there's a lot more to them than meets the eye. Now, as far as Hasbro is concerned, they don't get off the hook that easily with me. They still have serious crimes against the fans to answer for, like Michael Bay.